In the heart of a bustling city, tucked away in a quiet corner of an old apartment building, lived a young man named Amir. He was like many others in the city, navigating the challenges of work, relationships, and the pursuit of personal dreams. Yet, Amir had a secret companion that influenced his life more than any of these: laziness. Laziness, to Amir, was a comfortable shadow that followed him everywhere. It was never too intrusive, never outright commanding, but always there, whispering gentle words of delay and ease. Amir had a job that required minimal effort, and though he had ambitions to rise higher, his laziness would often persuade him to stay where he was. "Why put in extra hours when you're already comfortable?" it would say, and Amir would nod, convincing himself that the effort wasn't worth the potential reward. Amir's mornings were the first battleground. His alarm clock was the enemy, its shrill ringing an unwelcome intrusion on his dreams. Each morning, laziness would murmur, "Just 5 more minutes," and Amir, groggy and unwilling to face the day, would comply. 5 minutes became 10, 10 became 20, and soon Amir would find himself rushing through his routine, often arriving late to work. His boss was lenient, but even leniency has its limits, and Amir's chronic tardiness had begun to raise eyebrows. But laziness wasn't just a problem at work. It seeped into every corner of Amir's life. His apartment was a mess, clothes piled up, dishes left unwashed, and dust collecting on surfaces. He would often think about cleaning up, but then the voice of laziness would return, soothing and persuasive. "You've had a long day. You deserve to rest. The mess can wait until tomorrow." And so it waited day after day, until the task became so daunting that even thinking about it made Amir feel exhausted. Amir's social life, too, began to suffer. He had friends who would invite him out for dinners, movies, and weekend trips. But more often than not, he would decline. It wasn't that he didn't enjoy their company, he did. But the effort required to get dressed, go out, and socialize seemed overwhelming. The comfort of his couch, the lure of mindless TV, and the ease of doing nothing were far too tempting. His friends, after repeated rejections, started to invite him less, assuming he was simply not interested. Amir felt a pang of loneliness, but laziness would comfort him. "You don't need them. You're fine on your own." Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Amir's life was stagnant, each day a replica of the last. His dreams of advancing in his career, of finding a meaningful relationship, of pursuing hobbies and passions, these all faded into the background, overshadowed by the immediate gratification of doing nothing. Laziness was a patient captor. It didn't demand much, but it took everything. One day, as Amir was scrolling through social media, he came across a post from an old friend. The friend had recently completed a marathon, something Amir had once considered doing himself. The post was full of joy and pride, the kind that comes from achieving something difficult. Amir felt a sharp sting of regret. He thought of all the things he had wanted to do: learn a new language, travel, write a book, but had put off, always waiting for the perfect moment that never came. That night, as Amir lay in bed, he felt a deep unease. Laziness, sensing its grip loosening, whispered again, "You're fine as you are. There's no need to change." But this time Amir didn't nod in agreement. He thought about his life, about the days slipping by without purpose or direction. He realized that while laziness offered comfort, it also brought emptiness. His life was easy, but it was also unfulfilled. The next morning, Amir woke up to his alarm as usual. He reached out to hit the snooze button, but then he hesitated. The thought of another day wasted gnawed at him. Slowly, he sat up, resisting the pull of his warm bed. Laziness, sensing a rebellion, tried once more. Just 5 more minutes. But Amir shook his head. "Not today," he muttered to himself. It wasn't easy. Laziness had been Amir's companion for so long that breaking free felt almost unnatural. But Amir was determined. He forced himself to get up, to make his bed, to go through his morning routine without cutting corners. He arrived at work on time, and though the day was challenging, he felt a sense of accomplishment he hadn't felt in a long time. Over the following weeks, Amir continued to push back against laziness. It was a constant struggle. Laziness didn't give up easily. There were days when Amir would falter, falling back into old habits, but he didn't let these setbacks deter him. He started small, setting achievable goals for himself. He cleaned his apartment, started going out with friends again, and even began to exercise. Each small victory made the next one easier. One evening, Amir sat on his balcony, looking out at the city. It was the same view he had seen countless times, but tonight it felt different. He felt different. For the first time in years, he felt a sense of control over his life, a feeling that he was moving forward rather than standing still. Laziness was still there, of course, lurking in the shadows, but its voice was quieter now, less convincing. Amir knew the battle wasn't over. Laziness wasn't something that could be defeated in a day or even a month. It was a lifelong struggle, one that required constant vigilance. But Amir also knew that he had the strength to fight it. He had tasted the satisfaction of hard work, the joy of accomplishment, and the fulfillment of living a life with purpose. As the night settled in, Amir made a promise to himself to keep fighting, to keep moving forward, and to never let laziness dictate his life again. It was a promise born not of fear, but of hope. A hope that, with effort and determination, he could build the life he had always dreamed of. And with that, Amir closed his eyes, not to escape into the comfort of sleep, but to rest in the knowledge that tomorrow was another day, another opportunity to live fully, to push back against the shadows, and to embrace the light of a life well lived.